All right, picture this, man. Imagine you've got the biggest star on your platform, the guy who's literally breaking records, pulling in millions of viewers, creating moments that the internet cannot stop talking about. Like every single scroll on your feed, you're seeing his clips, his meme, his face. And instead of the platform throwing him on their shoulders and saying, this is our guy, this is our LeBron, this is the one carrying the game right now, they're kind of just sitting there like, whatever. And it blows your mind because you're thinking, how the hell does that even happen? How do you ignore the guy that's putting your name on the map? And that's where the rabbit hole starts, man. Because once you see that, you start asking bigger questions. You start asking, is this favoritism? Is it bias? Is it racism? Is it corporate nonsense? Like, what's really going on behind the curtain? And that's why this whole Kai Cenat versus Twitch situation is so fascinating, because it's not just about one dude getting snubbed. It's about what that snub represents, what it tells us about the future of streaming, and how platforms might be slowly killing their own culture, chasing ad dollars. So buckle up, man, because this one goes deep. And by the end of it, you're going to see why the internet is on fire over this and why people are saying Twitch might have just messed with the wrong dude. All right, so check this out, man. The whole thing with Kai Cenat's event, this is where the drama really starts, because you've got a guy who's not just some random streamer grinding on his setup. This dude is literally redefining what streaming can be. Like, he takes it beyond just sitting in front of a camera playing games, reading chat. Nah, man, he's building these wild experiences, like that whole 7-day jail stream where he basically locked himself in a set with guests coming through, constant content, no downtime, and the internet went nuts for it. People clipping it, reposting it, trending on Twitter, TikTok, everywhere you looked. Kai was dominating the conversation. And here's the crazy part. While he's putting on this massive cultural moment, the very platform that benefits the most from his success is just sitting back, almost acting like it's not even happening. No big push on the front page, no heavy promotion, no celebratory hype, the way they roll out the red carpet for other creators when they do far less. And that's where people start calling bullshit, because it looks like Twitch is picking and choosing who they want to shine a spotlight on. And it sure as hell doesn't look like they want Kai in that spotlight, even though he's the one breaking sub records, pulling in insane number, and literally making Twitch relevant in conversations outside of gaming. And you got to ask yourself why. Like, is it because he's too raw, too unpredictable, maybe not polished enough for the advertisers? Or is it something deep, like Twitch just doesn't see value in promoting a creator like him the same way they do others? And that's where the favoritism angle kicks in, because if this had been some big brand-friendly streamer running a charity event or doing a cooking show, you bet your ass Twitch would have plastered their face all over the platform. But Kai sets up this event that has everyone glued to their screens, and the silence from Twitch is deafening. It almost feels intentional, like they don't want to associate with him, even though he's dragging the platform into the spotlight. And that disconnect is what's driving the outrage, because fans see it, other creators see it, the whole internet sees it, and everyone's like, how does the biggest streamer on your platform put on the biggest event of the year and you treat it like it's nothing? And that's the fuel behind the entire favoritism controversy. So here's where it gets crazy, man. The whole favoritism thing on Twitch, not just some random conspiracy people cooked up on Twitter. It's something that's been building for a long time, because when you actually sit and watch how Twitch operates, you notice this pattern where certain streamers, usually the ones that are super brand friendly, say, yeah, maybe even a little boring, they get all the love, they get the front page features, they get hyped up in official Twitch tweets, they're on the banner when you open the site, while others, even if they're killing it numbers-wise, even if they're bringing in more raw energy, more cultural impact, they're just kind of ignored, like Twitch pretends they don't exist. And Kai Cenat is the perfect example of this, because the guy is literally the most subbed streamer multiple times. He's putting up stats that would make any business want to throw money at it, but Twitch treats him like he's this fringe act, like he's just another dude grinding out streams. And fans are looking at that and going, hold on, if he was white or if he fit the squeaky clean advertiser mold, would he be getting the same treatment? That's where the accusations of racism and bias start popping up, because it's not just about Kai, it's about a long history of black creators or edgier creators feeling like Twitch only wants to promote a certain kind of face, a certain kind of personality, ones they can put on a poster and sell to sponsors without worrying about a curse word or a wild clip. But here's the thing, man, streaming is supposed to be raw, it's supposed to be chaotic and real, and Kai embodies that. He's not filtering himself. He's not trying to sanitize the experience, and the audience loves it. That's why his events blow up, but Twitch doesn't celebrate that. Instead, they lean into creators who play it safe, who won't stir the pot. And then when Kai puts on these massive cultural moments, Twitch's silence just makes it look like favoritism, like they're deliberately elevating some while suppressing others. And the more you see it happen, the more undeniable it feels, because numbers don't lie. His streams are shattering records, but you wouldn't know it if you only looked at Twitch's own promo. And that disconnect is exactly why people are pissed, because it's not just one oversight, it's a pattern that shows Twitch has a type, and if you don't fit into that mold, you can be the king of the platform and they'll still treat you like you don't exist, man. And the community reaction to this whole Kai Cenat Twitch situation has been absolutely insane. Like, you can feel the energy shift online, because usually when there's streamer drama, it stays kind of in that bubble of people who watch Twitch every day, but this one broke through. It went beyond the usual audience and started trending everywhere. People on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, even folks who don't really follow streaming were suddenly talking about it. And the reason is because the optics are so obvious. Like, everyone saw Kai put on this massive of everybody's feed was full of clips, memes, viral moments, and yet Twitch, the platform that's supposed to champion its biggest stars, acted like it wasn't happening. And fans weren't just annoyed, they were pissed. They felt like their guy was being disrespected, like the culture they're part of was being sidelined. And that kind of collective anger turns into a movement real fast. So you had hashtags flying, people making compilation videos of Twitch hyping up other streamers for way smaller things, while ignoring Kai's record-breaking number. Yeah, the comment sections were just brutal. People saying Twitch is racist, Twitch is biased, Twitch doesn't value the creators that actually built the platform's hype. And that spread like wildfire, because it's not just Kai's fanbase saying it, it's other streamers, big name, calling Twitch out on double standards. And when that happens, it's not just a fan outrage anymore, it becomes a cultural talking point, like a debate about who gets recognition, who gets elevated, and why. And that's why the community's reaction hit so hard, because it wasn't just, oh, Twitch messed up again. It felt personal to people. Like, if the guy at the very top can get ignored, what chance does anyone else have? Especially if they're from a background or a style that Twitch doesn't consider brands. And that cuts deep, because the Twitch community has always prided itself on being diverse, raw, and chaotic, and now fans feel like the platform wants to polish that up and ignore the very energy that made it exciting. So the backlash turned into this bigger message, like fans are basically, if you won't respect our culture, we'll take it somewhere else. And that's powerful, because it's a warning shot. If Twitch keeps playing favorites, they're not just risking Kai walking away, they're risking the entire audience that came with him. That's why the community reaction wasn't just noise, it was an explosion. Here's the thing, man, when you really break down Twitch's business side of all this, you start to see why the favoritism accusations even exist in the first place. Because at the end of the day, Twitch is owned by Amazon, and Amazon's priority isn't who's pulling the most authentic moments or who's creating the culture. Their priority is ad money, it's corporate partnership. It's making sure brands feel safe, dumping millions into a platform without worrying about headlines. And when you look at it through that lens, everything starts to click. Because a guy like Kai Cenat, who's raw, unfiltered, unpredictable, he's amazing for the audience, literally revolutionizing live streaming. But to a corporate advertiser, he's a risk. He might say something wild, he might have a guest who goes off script, and brands hate that. They want control, they want predictability. So Twitch, instead of leaning into the cultural juggernaut, leans into the safe bets, the creators who don't swear too much, who stick to gaming or cooking, who look good in a highlight reel, because that's easier to pitch to Coca-Cola or Disney or whoever's buying the ad space. And you can see it in the way they promote events. It's less about what's exciting for viewers and more about what's safe for advertisers. And that's where the disconnect happens, because Twitch was built on raw chaos. It was built on the idea that anything could happen live. That's the whole thrill of it. But now the suits running the business don't care about that. They care about ad revenue charts. And it creates this weird dynamic where the creators that actually drive the most hype are treated like liabilities, and the ones who are steady but boring get treated like. And when people see Kai being ignored, they're not wrong for thinking it's favoritism. But from Twitch's business angle, it's more like risk management. They're protecting their bag, even if it means alienating their audience. And that's the slippery slope, man. Because the second you start prioritizing brands over culture, you start losing the very thing that made the platform valuable in the first place. It's like if the UFC decided to only promote fighters who never trash talk, never cause drama, just technically good but boring. Yeah, maybe it keeps sponsors happy, but fans tune out because the energy is gone, and Twitch is heading down that same road.
chasing brand deals while slowly erasing the soul of what made live streaming matter. The bigger conversation here, man, is that this whole Kai Cenat versus Twitch favoritism thing isn't really just about one streamer getting snubbed or one event not being promoted. It's about the way platforms treat their biggest stars and what that says about the future of entertainment. Because think about, streaming has become the new television. This is where culture is being made. This is where young people go instead of watching ESPN or late night shows. And yet the companies running these platforms are acting like they're still in the cable TV era, chasing ad dollar, trying to mold creators into these clean, brand-friendly packages, instead of embracing the chaos and authenticity that made people fall in love with the medium in the first place. And when you zoom out, Kai Cenat is just one example in a long list of creators across different platforms who've dealt with this, like YouTube demonetizing edgy channels, Instagram shadow banning accounts that don't fit their vibe, TikTok pushing advertiser-approved trends while burying the stuff that feels too raw. It's a pattern, man. The internet was supposed to be this free space where creators could blow up by being themselves, but now it's being carved up and sterilized for corporate money. And the irony is that the real the ones who pull insane numbers and create cultural moments, they're often the least brand safe, and platforms don't know how to reconcile that. So what happens? They downplay them, they underpromote them, they treat them like liabilities instead of assets, and the community feels that. People notice, people call it out, and it sparks this bigger debate about power, who controls the spotlight, who gets elevated, and whether these platforms are even loyal to the people who built them. Because without Kai Cenat, without creators like him, Twitch wouldn't even matter. It would just be another streaming site. But with him, it becomes a cultural hub. So when Twitch ignores him, it feels like a betrayal, not just to him but to the whole audience that made Twitch what it is. And that's why people are so fired up, because they see this as bigger than favoritism. They see it as a fight for authenticity in a digital world that's being scrubbed clean for corporations. And if Twitch doesn't figure it out, if they keep picking safe faces over real stars, they're going to end up like every other platform that lost its soul, with the real talent walking away and the fans following right behind them. So look, man, when you wrap this whole thing up, the Kai Cenat situation with Twitch, the favoritism, the community outrage, the business side, all of what it really shows is this clash between culture and corporations. It's like you've got this dude who represents what streaming is supposed to be, raw, unpredictable, magnetic, and then you've got the platform that's supposed to back him up, acting like they're embarrassed by the very energy that makes them relevant. And that's insane, because if the biggest star on your site can't get your respect, then what message are you sending to every smaller creator out there grinding for years? You're basically telling them numbers don't matter, impact doesn't matter, only whether or not brands feel comfortable with you. And that's a slippery slope, man, because eventually the audience gets sick of it, the creators get sick of it, and the whole ecosystem falls apart. So the real question isn't just about Twitch and the real question is whether these platforms are going to keep selling their soul for ads, or finally recognize that the reason people show up isn't the polished, safe stuff, it's the chaos, the authenticity, the wildness that guys like Kai bring. And if they can't figure that out, someone else will, because audiences follow energy, they follow truth, not corporate branding. And that's the reality, man. So good luck to Kai, good luck to Twitch if they can actually wake up and see what's in front of them. And thank you to everybody paying attention to this, because conversations like this matter. They keep these platforms accountable, they keep the culture alive. And honestly, that's all we can do. Call it like we see it and hope the right people are listening.